And good morning from Scotty, Ray, and Candace. Friday, aren't you glad?
I am so glad. It's been a long week to me.
It has been.
No, it just seems like it's drug on.
Well, I guess it all depends on, did you stay up late last night? Because that has a tendency how you feel the next morning.
Look, I'm always midnight or after going to bed. I just can't get in the bed early. I don't know.
Ooh, not me.
Yeah, I'm tired.
Y'all got ball games this weekend?
We have one tonight. Usually we play on Tuesday and Friday night. But anyway, we do if it doesn't rain us out. So
I don't think you're playing tonight.
you think?
I don't think so.
We didn't get to play last Friday night because of rain. Well, it was lightning and all that. It started doing all that, so they called it off. So
I'd say, let me think. 90% chance of rain today. Tonight.
yeah.
Yeah, ain't happening.
Dang.
So
I'm gonna keep
might
my
as well
fingers crossed.
call the coach and say, nah. And we'll get into weather here in just a second, take a look at all of that. Breaking this morning as we go to Clark County Hot Topics. Sad news as we go to the Carmichael community in Clark County. Someone has lost their life in a home fire this morning. Todd Kemp has confirmed that the coroner has been called to the scene, a body inside a burned-out home there on County Road 622. And as we pull up the picture, here's the scene, a fully engulfed home.
It's like it could have been a mobile home.
Yeah, I believe it was. Just
So sad.
horrible. So thoughts and prayers go to our friends there in the Carmichael community. And this is where it broke this morning at roughly 7:30. And then as we find out now that someone did die in that.
So sad. Prayers for that family.
That's heartbreaking.
It is.
I wish we had better news to tell on that, but that's the way it is. And again, if you'd like to read more on that, go to Clark County Hot Topics, and you can read more on it. A couple other things I thought we needed to bring up right out of the bat is some bridges that are closed in Lauderdale County. Okay, our first one that we want to look at, and let's pull this picture up here as we go over to the Clark County Road and Bridge. This is the first one on Lazia Road, and let's click on this picture. What this is Old Country Club Road right here. This would run up to Confederate Drive. You go, this is Lazia Road coming out of Marion, and you take this curve right before you get to Van Zyverden Road. It's that bridge in the curve there that is blocked, that they're redoing for emergency repairs. Not sure how long that will take, but find an alternative route if you go to work that way every day. And then let me find the second one that we want to look at. Okay, you're coming from Highway 39, where the Coca-Cola plant is, and you're going toward Marion there.
Right.
When you get to Henderson Steel and you take that right, which is the back way around Marion, there's a bridge in the curve on that road that is also out. Again, this is Faraway Places in that little gas station right here. This is the four-way stop up in Marion, and this is that back road around Marion.
Okay.
And it's the bridge right there in that curve there where umpteen dozen years ago there used to be a trailer park.
Okay.
Years
Be super
ago.
careful if you're coming around that curve. I don't know if surely they would have the road blocked and stuff, but just in case.
Stranger things have happened in life, hasn't
Right.
it? So a couple of things to keep in mind there this morning as you're looking at your travel routes. There are two bridges, and we've lost a life in Clark County, and that's just horrible. We hate to see that.
Oh, yes. I mean, that's awful.
See, there I go, starting things off on a bad note this morning. Sometimes it can't be helped.
Oh, I know. I mean, but we do want to acknowledge that family and just send our prayers out.
Yeah.
That's an awful thing.
Let's see. Races coming up this weekend, and let me see if I can pull this up for you. Why Not Motorsports Park is all going to happen this weekend. If you hadn't been to the races in a while, come on out. Going to have school bus racing, as we find out, and we look at everything. And here's the pick from what's coming up this weekend right there at Why Not. Now, adults, $15 to get in. Kids 6 through 12 is $5, and kids under 5 get in free. All the action, the gates open up at 3 o'clock. Racing action at 7 o'clock. I've never seen a school bus hang curves.
I was just going to say, is it the long ones or the little shorter ones?
I'm curious.
I am too. I don't think I've ever seen a school bus race, but like I said yesterday, I know a few bus drivers that probably could have entered it.
So that's this weekend. Tomorrow night out at Why Not? The rain will end. It's going to be a nice day tomorrow. So if you're looking for something to do that's family-oriented, what a great place to go to. And, of course, they want to push, they now have internet out there. Your phones will actually work.
Okay.
the EMEPA roll through town and change things for everybody, and why not?
Yeah. I'd like to go. I think it would be neat to go.
It would be.
I think Alden would like it. So.
Let's see here. On this date, 1980, and you tell me you don't remember this one, we're going to have a long talk out back behind the barn.
Oh, Lord. Let's see, what is it?
1983, Alabama was number 1 on the charts with Dixieland Delight. Now, you do know that, right?
I do know that song. Yes, I do.
Thank heavens. Now, something that I ran up on, and I had to go back and listen to it and think, I've never heard this, and maybe just the chorus rang a bell. Do you remember Starsky and Hutch? The detective show, the red and white
and they
Torino?
made a remake of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
David Soul, who was one of the main characters on the show, also was a singer, and I didn't know that.
Really?
He had a number 1 song in 1977, and it was rock, which was part of the reason I didn't know a whole lot about it. But Don't Give Up was the name of it.
Okay.
Kind of like a love song.
Huh.
Yeah,
I had to pull it up sometime.
I wouldn't get too carried away. It wasn't impressive to me. But
is it something that I would remember, or something
Yeah, I think
that
you
like I've never
would.
heard this in my life before?
I think you will hear, like I did, just that little chorus
Oh, okay.
part. It ding-linged in my head of I've heard that before, but it's not something that you're going to want to go buy and download
okay.
on your phone and run around with all day and go, oh, look
Right.
at my cool classic. Just it isn't happening. Birthdays today. You remember the comedian Martin Lawrence?
Uh-huh. I do.
He's born in 1965 on this date.
Really?
So he's up in his 50s now.
I didn't realize he was that old. So, not that that's old, but I'm just saying I didn't realize that.
Every time, and I just can't help myself when I'm flipping through the channels, and I've seen it 200 times, National Security. Have you ever seen him in that?
I've seen several movies. Is it? I mean, he was a detective or a police officer.
He
or
wanted to be a
something?
cop, and he was training with another cop, and they're security guards. And he, before he gets done to it, he gets attacked by a bee, and the cop is trying to kill the bee, and he sues the city for harassment that the cop beat him.
Oh,
and then they get stuck together, and it is funny. No other way to put it.
Wasn't he the Mama's House? He dressed up like the old woman.
Mama's House, Mama's House,
Okay.
Mama's. I've heard that name. I'm trying to place it.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking of what's a Medea, and I know that's not it.
This is a different one. But I think it's called Mama's House.
Could
I'm
be.
not sure. But he dressed up like this old woman. He's pretty funny.
Yeah, he was in a lot. Oh, and he was also in there in Bad Boys with Will Smith, the cop show.
Yeah.
So, a little of that. Let's see here. 2010, Alan Jackson got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. I didn't realize that Alan had gotten that.
That's good.
So heads up to that. Let's see here. 2007, this was a bad day in American history. Virginia Tech, it was a shooting today. 32 people died at Virginia Tech on this date. Just bad, bad, bad. Let's see. Charlie Chaplin was born on this date back in 1899.
Really?
Or 89, rather. You remember the
Yeah, I
silent
do.
movie? Weird things.
I
going
don't
on.
see how people just got into watching that.
It
But
was
they
not.
did. you
Yeah.
know. That was a big thing, I guess. I guess they all had. It was lots of silent movies back then.
And then one of the big basketball players of all time, Kareem Abdul,
Jabbar.
has a birthday today.
All right.
Kareem Abdul. How do you say that middle name?
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Abdul, like Paula Abdul. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Boy, some of those names that I have trouble with, have mercy. Let's see other things that are happening this morning. Let's get into some about rain and what's going to happen today, and then we'll take a quick look at radar and what's going on. The threat for severe weather lies to the southwest of Meridian, starting in Hattiesburg towards a Natchez line all the way to the coast, through Louisiana, all the way back out west. And we'll look at radar in a second, and I'll show you all that. Flash flooding, though, that could happen in between tonight and tomorrow morning will pick up right here at the Clark County line here. It's going to be a lot of rain tonight and gets worse right there at Jones Junior College in Laurel. And then all the way to the coast, it's just going to be pouring down rain. Now, Meridian is going to get its rain, but just not as much as Clark County. So keep that in your thoughts as you start your day there. And as you see here, the further south you go toward the coast, it gets worse. So let's pull up radar real quick here and take a look at what's going on with radar this morning and everything that's going on with it. Here's radar this morning.
It's nothing severe, right?
No,
for us. That's good.
this is a
I can
one
handle rain.
area. Yeah,
I
rain.
can handle rain. I like rain when I'm trying to sleep.
It does you good.
Yeah.
This is where we've got all this green area that you see here is a flash flood watch in effect today. And again, all across the coast as we go in and look at radar, Gulfport getting rain over to Mobile, Alabama. As we move north toward the Meridian area, it's light stuff, nothing heavy there. And we've got a little bit there on the northeastern side of the county. We're going to get more after 1 o'clock. We increased to like a 30% chance of showers there. And I did want to show this because as you go to Louisiana, this is where all that rain is. And again, this is that Mississippi River Bridge, and it is cutting a rug on top of that bridge right now. So be safe if you're in that area today, headed toward Baton Rouge, anywhere near us. And I did want to point this out before we leave the weather and show you what the severe is today. As we look at our map this morning, this is light rain that's going to come through the Meridian area. Okay. South of us from Waco, Texas, all the way over to Kissimmee, Florida, is the rougher weather of a 1. And as you zoom in on this, this is Hattiesburg, this is Wayne County here, and you get into these areas of Pascagoula, Biloxi. Y'all are going to have more rain and more possibility of thunderstorms today. So that kind of sums all that up for you.
But tomorrow it's supposed to be clearing up.
Yeah, right? Tomorrow's going to be pretty nice. As we look to tomorrow, we're looking at before 7 a.m. What we've got, rain real heavy up to daylight, sprinkles till about 1, and then it's out after lunch.
Okay.
Sunday is sunshine everywhere.
Oh, good.
So 71, but cool. I mentioned this morning, do not go putting up your blanket.
Well, we had practice yesterday evening, and the wind
got
cool. Like, we started getting cold when the sun started kind of easing on, down.
See, you get faked off. How many times have you wore shorts to a ball game like that? And about 20 minutes into it, you're going, boy, have I made a mistake.
Yeah, I was burning up before we went, so I changed, I had a little jacket thing on that I wore yesterday. I changed and I put something a little cooler on. Well, I was wishing I had it, back because it was cold. And I thought the mosquitoes were going to tote us off. Ooh. They were horrible.
Okay, help me out with this, Candace. Milton Savell said that Martin Lawrence the best movie he was in was called Life.
Life.
That's that prison movie.
I don't know. I hadn't seen that.
That's how my friend Cornbread got his nickname, was from that movie.
Okay.
Yeah,
so it's a serious movie then?
No,
kind of funny?
I think it was funny.
Okay.
Also, wasn't Eddie Murphy in it?
I don't know. If it's funny, I'm going to have to go back and watch it because I love funny, comedies and stuff like that. I love movies.
Good shows. Let's say some good mornings today.
Okay. Dean Baskin says good morning, and good morning to you. Milton Savell, good morning.
Donna Roseman is up. How are you doing? Charlene Gaddy, TGIF. Those are always good letters to see.
Yeah, I know. It is, and I'm glad it's Friday. So, Kathy Jenkins, good morning, and Donna Sue Peebles, good morning, and it is very cool.
Yeah.
It is.
Terry Carter, look at me pronouncing things right today.
No,
oh, boy.
She's not Clark today.
Dean Baskin, Big Mama. That was the name of the show that you were talking about.
Big Mama, not Mama's House. I don't know where I...
Yeah, Big Mama. I remember that now.
Yeah. Okay. I'm thinking about Mama's House is what's her name? Vicki Lawrence.
Vicki,
or
Mama's House had Ken, whatever his name was, it was in that.
Yes.
So now we know.
Harvey Cleveland is watching.
Appreciate that. Yes. Let's see here. Elmer Talbert also watching there.
Let's see. Olivia Henderson. I used to work with Olivia. She's so sweet. Hey, Olivia. Good morning.
Went to high school with Olivia.
Did you?
Many moons. Okay, maybe it was last year.
She's fun to work with, too.
So that's a few things. Let's see of other things that are happening right across the state line last night. This happened in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, as we pull this up. A police officer was called to the scene of a domestic dispute in town. Had, I think, shot at a mother and a child. He drove by while the police were there. They got in pursuit of him. He jumps out and he shoots at the cops, and that was the last thing that he ever done.
Oh, yeah.
He was taken down in Tuscaloosa last night for that. And, of course, with everything, there's investigations that have to follow up. But
so I hope the mother and the child was okay.
I believe they are.
Okay.
So that problem has been taken care of. What makes someone do that, I do not know.
You never know. It could be drugs, alcohol, just mental illness. I mean, you don't ever know.
Now, this is the developing story, if you haven't heard this by now. Sadness. And this, as we look at this also happening, 2007, the Virginia Tech shooting. We have another shooting last night. Confirmed 9 people total, including the gunman, 8 workers, at a FedEx place in Indianapolis, right there at the airport. As you get into the story of reading what went on, he gets out of the car, immediately takes the rifle out of the trunk, starts shooting. Most of the people in the parking lot were not hurt. And then he walks inside. Here's family members waiting to hear from this at about 2:30 this morning. This happened right before midnight last night.
So I wonder, was he like an irate employee or something? Maybe
It's
a former
speculation,
employee maybe, or something.
but no confirmation yet so far. And if that is confirmed before we go off this morning, we'll pass that along. But
You remember the Lockheed thing
Yeah.
years ago? It's just awful.
what makes people snap, I don't know. What makes them think that they need to go hurt? These people were just trying to make a living for the
Right,
family.
you get up, it's a normal day, you go to work, and you never know.
Right.
You just never know what's going to happen. So,
The biggest thing you have to worry about here is getting licked by Sophie
yeah.
at our studio. That's the only irate employees
Or
that
me
we have
backing
here.
over her with the chair.
She
'Cause,
might-
she lays right here by me.
She might yelp at some point.
Yeah.
But again, condolences for those family members as we find out who, what, and how on this.
Right.
I
Yeah, because I think they were still, like you said, still waiting to find out who the victims were, all. It's just awful.
more comes out. The Bernie Madoff guy, who also destroyed a lot of people's lives, as he passed away this week. We dig into this, and he had a pen pal who was a reporter. And you go through all that. He drew $10 million out of the bank the day that all of that broke. And that's so because he knew they were going to seize his money is what the reason he done that. $60,000 a month. How do you spend that much?
So his wife would spend that
Yeah.
$60,000 a month on a company credit card and withdrew $10 million on the day the Ponzi scheme was exposed. So did anything happen to her?
That I don't know. I never heard much about her.
I mean, she had bound to know about it.
Mm-hmm.
I would think.
Seriously, $60,000. I guess that's just a class of people that I'm not used to that kind of spending.
Right.
We're on the peanut butter and bread type budget in comparison to that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
That has to involve staying at fancy, swanky hotels and whatnot.
I don't know. I get anxiety at the grocery store.
Spending money.
Seriously, I'm like, oh my gosh, how much is this gonna be?
I
don't know.
Speaking of that, I ought to be ashamed. Back when I worked for other companies instead of for myself, I used company credit cards to order stuff off of online all the time.
Right.
And I needed to order some more equipment last night. So I've never bought anything off of Amazon before, ever. But I needed some more equipment, and they had it. And I got ready to do it, and I was like, I was hesitant. So I called Madison up here, and I said, Madison, what do I do here? And she goes, well, I don't know. And then I had to get Angie involved to get the credit card in there.
What, were you leery of putting your information in?
Well, I was
what?
unsure that I would mess up Angie's account that she had by trying to start one for me, or could I change her account to pay for it with my company credit card? And so she had to solve the day to get the stuff ordered.
I'm just always leery about putting my information in, because I don't have credit cards.
So you ain't gonna order it no other way offline.
I mean, I have a debit card that is tied to my bank account.
But isn't that worse? Because
Yeah,
a credit card,
it is. But that's what I'm saying. So I'm real hesitant. I don't ever really order because I thought, somebody scams me. They got access to my bank account.
Yeah, because a credit card you could call and say, "Oh, hang on," but a debit card, it's
So that's one reason why I don't really ever do a whole lot of online shopping. And my husband, he's got, he can do that. He's got the credit card thing. I mean, which is ours, but I mean, I just think, I don't know. I don't like credit
Look,
cards.
Angie ain't scared to do it.
If they ask me, do you want a credit? I'm like, no. I don't.
There is constantly a box a day showing up here from somewhere.
Yeah.
Somewhere. I don't know where they all come from. But the moral of that story is I've got to get used to doing it.
Right. You
I'm
do.
I'm scared to touch. I don't know why.
Well, I mean, if you're not real computer savvy, I'm not computer savvy. I'm not a real technologically inclined person. So, which we'll get to in a minute when we're talking about the page thing. So anyway,
I'm just better.
going on a wing and a prayer when I get on the computer. So
I think that was a song years ago, Winging a Prayer. Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's see here. Finally, the cop speaks out. Have y'all heard this? Derek Chauvin pleads the fifth is all that he really said at the trial yesterday.
he's not going to testify.
No. That should be wrapping up, I would assume, here before
I think
long.
so. They said something yesterday about maybe doing closing arguments pretty soon. But, yeah, they said that, I watched where they were asking him about, are you sure you don't want to testify? Because, like, if you don't testify, then it kind of looks like you're admitting guilt.
Right.
But then if you do testify, you're looking at being really drilled by the other
and torn apart
attorney. Right. So, I don't know. He just chose not to, so.
Now, I am not up to date on my foreign policies, maybe like that I should be. As we look at everything that's going on in Ukraine, it's getting to be very sticky, the possibility of the United States ending up in war all over this. I don't know whether this is a right or a wrong decision. All I can tell you is it sends a message to others. If you make the decision to send a ship to begin with, by George, it better go on, because if you back down, you look like a wimp to the world.
Yeah.
Joe did that yesterday. He did a U-turn in the sea and returned the ships, so that makes Putin the winner regardless of what happens.
What did he
now.
expect? I mean, did he just think he was going to just kind of scare them and
Yeah,
they were going to, like, back down? I don't know.
You threaten Putin, you have to stand
Follow
your
through.
ground.
Yeah.
Now, they're going to put sanctions on him. I do know that. And that does hurt Russia, by all means. But pretty serious matter there going on there between the two. We'll watch that. And what does that do? This fires off. Let me back up over here. The next thing that is going on with this, the Taliban. Did I say that correctly? Taliban?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now they're sending threats to the U.S. And, of course, all of this, we've got our troops being pulled out, which would be September 11th, 9/11, and you brought that up. We talked about it. Being pulled out.
Why he would choose that day. You know, it's just like a slap in the face to a lot of people.
A lot of people lost their lives over there.
Right. I mean, due to, I don't know if it was ISIS, Taliban. I don't know. I guess they were.
And I do think most Americans would agree that we don't need to fight other people's wars, but we're invested in that place. And if we step over, it looks like ISIS and the Taliban will take back over and run democracy there quickly.
And not to mention, like, the money that goes in, that's involved in sending out a ship. I would think that would take money.
Oh, yeah. It ain't
launch
cheap.
a ship to go over there, and then you get so far, and then you turn it around and come back, call it off. Like, that's just money,
It is.
I don't know. They throw money around like it's nothing,
They do. All right. Are you up to date on superstars and who they date and all that kind of stuff?
I don't know. It depends on who you're talking about.
I slack a little bit in that neck of the woods.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of movie stars now that I'm not real sure who they are anymore, because there's so many of them.
I do kind of know a little bit about this one, though. Just a little
I
bit.
know who she is, but who is the boyfriend, Alex Rodriguez?
He was a baseball player,
No, I didn't know.
A-Rod.
Oh, I've heard that.
Yeah. But yeah, he was a big baseball player, or is. I don't know if he's still playing or if he's retired. I don't know. But I thought they made a really cute couple, and I thought everything was going good until not too long ago. I heard that, I don't know if anybody keeps up with this girl right here from Southern Charm.
This girl here?
Isn't that her, Madison LaCroix?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right.
that's her.
Golly, look at you.
Yeah. She's on Southern Charm, which is another reality show that's based out of, I think, South Carolina. Anyway, he was communicating. I don't know if he hooked up with her or whatever, and then J-Lo found it out. But this little Madison LaCroix, she's something else.
Is she
so
like a
y'all ever watch
homewrecker?
Well, yeah, she is a very pretty girl, but the way she carries herself, and she has like this much class.
And this is her again.
Yeah,
isn't
she's
it?
all about her. She's all about,
What?
being popular and going with whoever. I mean, it
Isn't
just seems
J-Lo
like she
prettier?
kind of is like, yeah, to me. I mean, she is, and I don't know. I would think J-Lo could give her a run for her money.
It looks like she does look prettier.
I mean, so
Wasn't J-Lo-
It really amazes me though. Like some men. I mean, you look at Jennifer Lopez; she's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why would you risk that for anybody? I mean, like going with anybody. Why would you do that if you have a good thing? But some men are like that. I don't know. Some men don't care.
What was
Or women.
Will
same
Ferrell.
thing.
You know what I'm talking about? There was a movie called The Other Guys. Did she play the part of the wife in that?
I don't know because I have not seen that movie. I've never even heard of that
It's
movie.
funny.
Oh, really?
Oh, it's really funny.
Okay. Yeah.
Gator. Y'all know what I'm talking about if you've seen that. Golly, it's hilarious.
I haven't seen that, but
What about,
anyway, that's the you know,
the
what I know
rundown.
about that, the rundown on it.
You're good, because I didn't know that girl from nowhere.
Yeah.
That's one of those reality shows that you secretly watch.
Yeah, I mean, I do like that one just because it's based in the South, and you know, they just.
And what's the name of it?
Southern Charm.
Southern Charm. Okay, I'll make a note never to watch that.
Right.
I'm kidding. It just doesn't hold my interest. But a lot of people eat that up.
But the Madison LaCroix, she's a hairstylist. She's works in some hair salon in South Carolina, Charleston. So anyway, that's where this place is. I mean, the movie or the show is based in Charleston, South Carolina. Anyway.
Now we know.
Right.
Good morning all the way to Seattle. Jeremiah Johnson watching from there. We appreciate that. Pat Banks is up and watching us.
Miss Linda Jane Lunsford. Pretty is as pretty does. That's exactly right. Yeah.
Somewhere, no matter how pretty they are, there's somebody else's issue. Leave it there.
Well, I mean, to me, you can be beautiful, but if you have a bad attitude,
yeah.
I mean, that just same goes with a guy. They can be the most handsome guy in the world, and they can open their mouth and say the wrong thing, and it's just like, ugh.
So that's how ugly boys get pretty women. It's good attitudes.
I guess. I mean, to me, your personality, you're trustworthy, you know, stuff like that. That means so much more than looks.
Is that what's on the resume for a husband?
That's
Is that
right.
what most women should have?
That's right, women. That's what you need to look for.
We're going to have to come up with some do's and don'ts from Candace on marriage tips here. And who
Lord,
today?
I don't know if I need to be giving marriage tips, but anyway.
As we turn to talk about grass, well, lawnmower season is here, and Freeman Tractor, they've got anything that you might need when it comes to this coleslaw, buttermilk. Work tirelessly, because as soon as a truck comes in with lawnmowers, well, almost out the door immediately. People are waiting to get them nowadays. See the line, see the complete line that you can get there, starting at $29.99 for an X-Mark lawnmower. That's your beginning series there, and it works on up. You can get all the way up to a 60-inch cut. Very, very nice there. As you move into the next brand, which is Skag, that they all carry, that's the number one and the number two brands in America. Can't beat them there. Skag, very comfortable. Extra gas tanks on them to where you can handle that.
That's a big plus.
It is, yeah, because I'm real bad about that gas.
I have ran out of the out of gas in the middle of the yard, way away from the gas.
That's the longest walk that you have to make back to the house.
It is. I have drove my car down there and put it in my car and drove it back up there.
And then you don't want to finish cutting grass after that. You're like, I'm going in the house.
I'm tired.
But they've got so many models to choose from there at Freeman Tractor. You keep going through here. The cabin air conditioner. I was in there Monday, and somebody was buying a tractor there. They were loading it up, and it was leaving. You can see these, the four-wheel drives, the Batwing bush hogs. This is galvanized where it won't rust also. It'll be there with you. It'll last as you get into box blade, if you're going to be doing a garden, if you need forklifts. Anything with a tractor, they got it for you. And also the Benchy, one of the newest ATVs that is carried here, made in Texas is where they are. 0%. You can get a cab, air conditioning, heating, no matter what you're doing. You can get the 550. You can get these that have the little system on there to guide you back to where you're going there. Radios, all that. All of them come with a winch also. You'll find this at Freeman Tractor, Highway 494. See buttermilk, see coal. They'll help you get into your lawnmower and any accessory, belt, blades, all for you there at Freeman Tractor. That's what you got to do today.
I need to cut the grass so bad. It is awful.
Yeah.
And after all this rain, I mean, it's going to be so thick. I'm going to have to cut it twice.
If you don't go...
I'm going to have to cut it with my deck just down a little bit, and then I'm going to have to go,
You get stuck.
Oh,
and I don't know if anybody's ever gotten, besides me, have gotten a zero-turn stuck. That's a whole different ball game.
Yeah, I did several times. I've gotten mine stuck down by the pond because you think it's okay, and then you get in there and the tire just spins, you know. Yeah, I've torn the yard up good.
Yeah, it involves a truck to get that out. Let me go ahead and... oh, my gosh, I don't know what we're going to do. Y'all get ready for this. We can no longer use this word, Candace.
The mistress.
It has been canceled.
I don't know what you're supposed to call it. I could think of a few.
Yeah, well, what would you call a woman like that now?
You asking me that, really?
Well, there's got to be, don't say the ugly word, but there's got to be a clean word that we got to use now. The Associated Press has called it, said you can't do it no more. So y'all think about that.
Yeah. Huh.
Companion.
Oh, yeah. I would not call her a companion.
A friend.
Or him. Well, I guess a guy wouldn't be a mistress, but.
What do you call a man?
A man?
Yeah, like a woman who has a man. What do you call that? That has a man on the side?
I don't even know.
Boy toy?
I reckon. I don't know. Like, could be a sugar daddy. I don't know. Depending on who they are or how old they are. I don't know.
But you cannot call a mistress a companion because that is a whole different definition, is it not?
Yeah, I mean, it is. Like, I mean, I could think of a lot of things, but they would not be nice,
You are
probably.
thinking of the song from Roy and what's her face? Joey and Rory.
Oh, what?
Cheater, cheater.
Oh, yeah.
Where'd you get that white trash?
Yeah, that's why I might put a little trash to it.
Gail Williams says the word we're looking for on the men is gigolo.
Gigolo.
Well, that was a song
Oh,
with that.
yeah, just a gigolo.
Gigolo.
Yeah. I think I knew one of them people one time, too.
Husband-in-law.
Husband-in-law.
Hadn't heard that one before.
Yeah.
So the names that you can't. So don't be thinking you can go around and sling that word mistress.
All right.
What is wrong with? Wait a minute.
Yeah.
What is wrong
I
with the
would
word?
think mistress would be the most, the nicest way to put it.
Yeah, it's not ugly. But I don't understand what makes that word offensive
I don't
at this
either.
point.
I don't either.
Somebody solve the mystery for me because I'd like to know that one.
Yeah.
Let's see here. This one is different. As you go to California, they're changing the town's logo. And the name of the town is Hangstown. And it happened after they did a lynching there of 4 men that done some bad crimes there many years ago. But this was their seal of the city, and it had a tree with a noose in the back.
Is that Placerville or Placerville?
City of...
Placerville?
Yeah, I believe so. And their nickname was Old Hangtown. That is going away quickly.
Well,
from
I
what
could
I
understand that, you know.
Yeah, that one I can't.
I can definitely understand why they would want to remove that.
It doesn't make sense. We saw last week where the shooting took place.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, at Knoxville High School. You remember that,
Yeah,
don't you?
yeah.
Oh, there's a word for us, consort.
Consort.
They consorting.
I guess.
There you go. But anyway, back to the high school thing. There was a shooting there last week, and when it first come out, it sounded as if this young man had a gun, and he was taken down by police, and one of the police officers were injured during it. And it made you think that the guy that was taken out that had the gun shot the police officer. Turns out it was friendly fire on the police officer. He's okay, but he was shot by another cop. Don't know how it went on, but that's what happened there in Tennessee.
I wonder why. I wonder if he was trying to keep him from, I don't know, who knows.
But he pulled the
just
gun and went, it wasn't good. Justified from what I understand. But I don't understand how the cop got it.
Well, it's just like you know, like we were talking about the other day, how this is so every day you just hear more and more and more with them trying to get the guns.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
So more of that to come.
Yeah.
Now, here's a story that I had no clue this has happened. Y'all ever remember Jerry Falwell Jr., don't you? Who had to step down from Liberty University. A pretty high-paying job, $234,000 a year is what it paid. He put his son in his place. Didn't know that. Turns out that didn't work out. They have fired him from Liberty University as being the leader of it. Apparently, he didn't know what he was doing. It doesn't give a whole lot of details as to why he was fired, but it doesn't look like any family member will be tied back to it. And his daddy started all of this.
Yeah.
And it went from bad to worse, from the wife having a fling with
wasn't it the young guy?
Yeah.
And all that mess.
maybe it was her mister. Maybe that's what we need to start calling it instead of a mistress, a mister.
Mister.
No, that don't make sense, does it? Yeah, I'm gonna hush.
Oh, Lord.
But that's what's going on there at Liberty University. That family is out totally at this point.
Yeah.
Nancy Reagan, you remember when she used to tell us that we cannot do drugs, and she had a big campaign. I think Mr. T became very close friends with them. He even went to Ronald's funeral. This is what comes out after all of that, that she was on pills pretty hard there. And the White House staff had to go to Ronald and say, hey, look, she's doing a little bit more than she should there.
Goodness.
You know, and we all remember that was a big scene there. She was big on that back in the 80s there doing it.
Yeah.
And I do remember she had the psychics that she would talk to. You remember when that broke?
Oh, yeah. I don't know, though. I mean, I guess you don't know the stress involved, though, in these. I'm not saying that makes it okay. at all. I'm just saying, like, you know, once you get in there and you got all this stress eating at you, I guess maybe some people need something to
I would not
calm
want to
them
be
down, or nerve
some people
pills. I mean,
crave
who
for
knows?
that. Would you
I don't
really?
I don't like taking anything. Like, I always said I hope I don't ever have to take anything to keep me alive.
Oh, I know what you mean.
I'm awful about remembering to take medicine or something. You know, I don't know.
Now, I put this on here. Let me scroll down on my page. I posted this yesterday. This right here. If you get a chance, go back and listen to this as we talk about stress and things. A young man from Meridian named Monty Patton put out a live video that he recorded, and he made a lot of sense. And it's about the mayor's race that's coming up, and he's saying, make sure you know who you're going to vote for. And it's long now. It's about 2 hours long. But he goes into, you know, what is wrong with Meridian, and he done a little role play there. He goes, you go to Amazon, and you go, hey, we'd love to have you come to Meridian. And Amazon says, well, Mr. Mayor, let's talk about crime in Meridian. He goes, oh, yeah, we got a few issues there.
Yeah.
And he goes, it's not the mayor's fault. He goes, it's the family. He said it has to start with the family to fix crime in Meridian.
Well, yeah,
and he said the next question Amazon is going to do is say, well, Mr. Mayor, let's talk about your schools. And he goes, whoa, well, we got a little problem there too. And he goes back into family, of making your kids go to school, showing up and being responsible for what they do. Young man made a lot of sense. It's worth listening to. And again, it's 2 hours, and he talks about the potholes and this, that, and the other around town, and some of the stress of just growing up in Meridian and how to deal with it. It's worth watching.
Yeah. I'll have to go back and watch that.
So,
but there is a lot of different things and a lot of different aspects involved in cities, you know, having troubles. I mean, it's not just like one thing.
Yeah,
you know?
and again,
and a lot of it does start at home.
I don't want to be mayor.
You know? Yeah, I wouldn't want to have that.
It ain't worth it there.
I'd want to have that job. I mean, it's just a lot. It is a lot to take on, you know. But I do think we have a lot of issues that need to be addressed. Definitely.
Daphne Child said you hadn't changed anything except that little wrinkle there under your right eye, she said, since high school. Did you catch that comment?
Let's see. No, I have not. Well, thank you. I guess, I mean, Lord, I feel like I've aged, I don't know how much. I mean, I'm tired, Daphne. I don't know about you, but I feel like I'm worn out now.
I walked by a picture of me from about 15 years ago, and I have changed. Woo!
Well, I look back on stuff, and I you know, I have too, but thank you, Daphne. That's sweet.
That was very sweet.
I was thinking about her the other day. I really was, because I saw something that said Daphne. I wonder if that's Daphne that I used to.
She didn't owe you any lunch money or anything.
We used to live right down the road from each other, huh?
She didn't owe you lunch money or anything like that.
No. I often think about those people that I went to school with and I wonder where they're at and what they're doing, you know.
Oh, she's into that Garth Brooks song. What's she doing now?
I do, because I mean, when I see somebody that I went to school with, I love it. I mean, because it just takes me back, you know, makes me feel like I'm at home again, you know. So.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Memories.
Memories.
As we go to the next topic this morning of what's going on across the nation, Tucker Carlson, like him or not, he usually calls things pretty close to what they are, whether whoever's right or wrong. And he's calling out the Department of Justice at this point going, okay, you didn't charge the officer in the Capitol Hill killing. And he says it's a double standard there when you go to the other shootings. And if you've ever watched the video to that, why wasn't that lady shot with a taser instead of a gun?
Yeah.
She was climbing over the top. Yes, she was going in the Capitol, but she didn't have a gun.
Yeah.
She could have been easily tased. So he's catching flack for calling them out. He also
but
makes...
that's true. Why was nothing done? Or if it's being done, why are we not hearing about it?
Yeah, and we are not hearing about it.
No, I mean, all I've heard is that she was a conspiracy theorist, and you know, they really dug into her background, making her look really bad or trying to.
But the video really says it all. It's 20, 30 people standing there, and she's just on top of. She hadn't gone through. She's trying to.
Yeah, she climbs up, and she gets to the opening of the window, and boom, she falls back.
Yeah.
You know, it's just.
And then you had Mr. running around with the horns on his head there that's a freak. They didn't shoot him.
No. I think a lot of people who like maybe have a gun, if they're a security officer, a cop, or whatever, you know, maybe that adrenaline is acting, they don't, it takes over.
Yeah.
It's just like I heard yesterday somebody say, maybe there needs to be more training, like on situations like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like they have training, but like maybe they need to put them in. But I don't know if it's the same as if you're actually put in the situation.
Let me throw a curveball into that.
Yeah.
Because if you flinch in a situation of life and death, you will be dead.
Right. So I don't know what the answer is really. I mean, I don't know.
It's tough out there.
It's a scary situation, and it's a hard job, I would imagine, to do.
Tucker also calls Fauci out and goes, okay, explain it to me. You're telling us if we get the shot, we're not going to get the disease, so why are we still having to wear a mask? And Fauci doesn't want to answer that. And you said somebody else drilled him yesterday, too.
Well, I cannot remember what the guy's
It's not
name
Jim
is.
Jordan, is it?
Yeah, that's him. He was drilling him
I like
yesterday.
Jim.
Yeah, I do too. But he was really giving him the third degree, and he wanted to know, okay, so give us a timeline as to when it'll be okay. When can people go back to normal with their families and start visiting their families again and having family get-togethers and stuff? I mean, give us a timeline, give us a date. And he was like, he couldn't do it. He never would give a direct answer.
Yeah.
And I do feel like I said the other day, I feel like, it is a very real thing. The disease is very real. There's been so many people who have passed away from it. I know personally people who have gotten it and have been super sick, or either people who have passed away. I'm not trying to, down that. But I do believe, though, that there's people in our government who, if they can keep everybody scared to death,
they want to.
The longer they can do that, the longer they have the upper hand. Mm-hmm. The longer they have to get things passed that they want to pass through, whether it be by an executive order or passing a bill or doing some kind of, something.
And then I heard yesterday also to where they're saying that there's the possibility after you get your shots that after 60 days, maybe 90 days, you may have to go back and get an updated shot to make that thing keep going.
Right.
I was under the impression when it first started that once you got that was it.
Yeah.
But maybe not. More to come on that as they dig deeper into this disease.
Yeah, and I don't know who benefits from these vaccines, these shots. Yesterday I had heard that Fauci possibly could be benefiting financially.
Well, these companies are.
Yeah. Now, I know that a while back that I heard about the Burks lady, the Dr. Burks. Remember that she would be up there with Fauci and stuff. Something about her daughter's involved in the drug administration, too. So, I don't know. Who knows? They could all be in a little loop together. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah. Going back up, Tiffany Allen said that when we were talking about dating and all, that personalities do win when it comes to a guy. Mm-hmm. She's trying to say you can be homely and still score.
Well, I mean, I've always thought, even back in high school and stuff, the guys that made everybody laugh, I mean, to me, that was more, that made them sit higher to me than these other people who just, I don't know.
Linda Jane is all upset this morning. Oil of Olay has let her down. That's kind of funny. I got to give you that. This next headline that comes across proves that no matter who you are, there's family arguments always. Boy, this one, this is just huge issue here. It got so bad that none of them now are going to wear military uniforms. You got the sex one there. What's his name? The other one up in the family there that accused of running around with a Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah.
He can't wear it.
What's his name?
I'll think
William?
of it.
No, that ain't the one. I don't know.
But you know who I'm talking about.
We know who you're talking
and then you've got Harry, who's been chunked out of the family there, who can't wear one because he's been removed. So she told them all of them had to just wear a suit at the funeral tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Prince Andrew.
Andrew, that's his name.
Yeah, that's over.
And that's a mess.
It is.
Again, Prince Harry one day will regret this, I'm afraid. Mm-hmm. So look for that tomorrow. And that will probably take up every television station tomorrow, them covering that. If you hadn't seen it tomorrow, that's going to be everywhere. Mm-hmm. So be ready for that. Let's see, gangs in America. It's horrible.
Yeah, it is.
This is the headline on this. MS-13, and Trump was really going after these guys. They arrested a few of them there in New York yesterday after someone noticed them picking up a body out of a trunk.
Mm-hmm. A wrapped up woman's body. You know.
This goes on. Don't pretend that this stuff is not out there, because it is.
Right. Yeah.
And if you're not careful, it'll come knocking on your door.
But I do think that if they could get a hold of, like, tightening up on the gangs and trying to, eliminate that part of the criminal world, that we would have a little bit better chance of eliminating this other stuff. Because I think a lot of the violence comes from that. I mean, gang violence, gun violence. I mean, and it's like I said, I mean, they can take everybody else's, the everyday persons try to take their guns or do whatever with them, but they're not going to get rid of the guns from the gangs.
No, you go back to Prohibition. Boy, you want
right.
to talk about gangs with all the Al Capone and that bunch. And somebody, I believe that come in from, it's Twitch they're watching on. It said that it's been in America forever. Mm-hmm. They came on the Mayflower. They carried it with them, and you have to tend to agree with that.
Yeah.
But, locally, there's a lot of gangs here now. We can't pretend that this is in larger cities. Mm-hmm. It's right here in our hometown also.
Right. It is.
So just be careful. As we turn to the next story of I don't care what race, color you are, no one should be beat up on a bus. But a lady, she's 70 years old. She was on a L.A. bus and she was beat up. Look what happened to her. Mm-hmm. Wow, an elderly 70-year-old woman. What makes it? It was a 23-year-old woman that jumped on her.
Says they thought she was an Asian American. I don't understand this. Like, what is the deal?
Yeah.
With.
I mean, look how bad she was beaten.
That's horrible.
I disagree with anybody hurting anyone. There's no sense in it.
Yeah, it's not.
But that's L.A. that happened out there. We hope she gets better, by all means there. Let's see here. This is one of those things where you take justice into your own hands. Mm-hmm. A gunman shot this guy's girlfriend. Mm-hmm. And so he sees it goes down, and the guy's getting away, so he jumps in his truck and runs him down, kills him. He tried to get away, but he didn't get away from that guy. And, I don't want you to take me wrong, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
my son and I this morning, my little one, on the way to school, he was telling me about a dream he had about somebody trying to kidnap him. And he was like, Mom, is there really people? And I said, yes, there's really people out there that will, that's why I stressed to him not to get out of my sight. If we're in a store, I mean, even if you round the corner of another aisle, somebody can snatch you up just like that. And so he was like, well, what would you do? If so, I said, look, there's no limit to what I would do if somebody was taking my child. There's just not. I mean, as a mother, as a parent, I don't know what I'd do, but I definitely wouldn't just stand there. So.
Yeah. Did you watch the episode Dukes of Hazzard when Lulu was kidnapped?
I did. Boss Hog was just all beside itself.
Those were the days.
I'm sure he had a bucket of chicken with him somewhere.
You're right. Roscoe, that was too funny.
He ate chicken when he got nervous.
Now, this was one of the best series that I watched. The first show, if I had based the entire show on the very first episode, I wouldn't have watched. As a matter of fact, I got about three-quarters the way through it, and I turned it off. And I went back to it 3 years later and watched the whole thing. And after you got past the first episode, it was really good. Breaking Bad. Have you watched it?
No, I just a couple of times I caught a little snippet of it, but no.
Walter White was really a bad boy. And the concept of the movie, of the TV show, was he was a school teacher. Mm-hmm. He doesn't make a whole lot of money, and he finds out he's got cancer, and he's going to die. And he has nothing to leave. He's got 2 or 3 kids. He's got an autistic child, and he wants to leave them something when he dies that they don't starve. So he's a chemist. And so he goes, so he figures out how to make meth. And it turns out he's really good at it. He's better than the meth people. And he starts his own business. And it goes on and on out through it, and he just takes on the cartel through it because he has nothing to live for because he's going to die anyway.
Yeah.
But in real life, I guess somebody watched it and they thought, well, I can kind of do the same thing. A teacher went and stole from the Mexican cartel. They did not respond to that they killed him. Mm-hmm. And that's him. They took him. The cartel is not someone that you mess with.
Yeah.
TV is one thing, reality is another.
Right.
So, but if you ever get a chance, watch that show. I think you would enjoy it. It was on, what was that network? AMC back in the day? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that was pretty good there. Again, we cannot count how many times people forget they have computers. And watch where you set up your computer if you're going to be involved in meetings.
Close it. If it's a laptop, close it. Because, it's got that little camera up there, a little webcam a lot of times. Or if you have a camera like this set up on a tripod, I mean, be smart not to walk through that room.
Yeah, keep it separate. And here's the headline here. A Canadian lawmaker, and this is going to be blurred out, so you won't see anything that just spooks you out here, but goes naked right up on the camera. That, what was it, a few months back, we had the lawyer who got involved in a relationship with the secretary live on the thing. Yeah. Everybody sat there and watched it, too. They didn't turn it off.
Or the guy who was sitting there on a Zoom call and his mistress, that we're not supposed to call it a mistress, comes through the background from the bathroom half dressed. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
And then there was a lady who was going to, the newswoman who was going to do a special on makeup from her shower. And her husband was behind her in the shower. And everybody got to see that.
Gosh.
She was showing her makeup, and in the background you could see in the mirror.
She was in the bathroom, and he was in the shower.
Yeah.
That ain't real smart.
Showed everything. But here's the Mexican lawmaker there. He changes clothes and walks through there. And, of course, everybody started snapping pictures. Now, it's blurred out where you can't see it. And whoops.
Why would you walk through there like that? I mean, you got the flags in the background of the room. Why are you in there not dressed?
Yeah.
Unless he just had a little area set up in his house to make it look like it was the office. You know what I'm saying? As some people probably do. Like a little set.
And tell me this, Candace, how do you ever go back out into the public after that? I mean, because that's just...
Oh, yeah. I don't know how you would. I don't
know.
That
had to rank in the top 5 most embarrassing things that could ever happen to you.
Yeah.
I would think. Am I wrong?
No. I mean, I would think that would be embarrassing for sure.
Trisha Yearwood not only is a great cooker, because we've all seen Garth, because she must cook great because he eats a lot there, but she's also starting her own company. She's starting a pet supply company, dog treats, collars, and all this stuff here.
I like those little dog beds. Those look neat.
Oh, I didn't even notice that, but you're right.
Those are neat.
So be looking for this. Trisha Yearwood there. You can find her on Twitter. Find out more about the company if you'd like to purchase some of her stuff.
I want one of those old trucks like that. Those are pretty.
That's exactly like mine. As a matter of fact, it's 66. Mine's sitting out in the I got to fix that.
I love old trucks.
It's
I
cool.
just think they're classic.
I saw where someone took a 50 model and put it in the yard. I've seen that. They won't run for decoration. They put a waterfall out of the hood.
I saw that the other day.
Yeah, that was pretty neat.
It was really neat.
So if you're going to be doing that. So Trisha into the doggy bit. And that is a multi-billion-dollar industry because people love those pets so much. Okay, here's the next thing. And I looked at this picture, and I couldn't figure out what it was either. A lady gets a gift from a friend, and it's delivered to her house, and she opens it up, and she goes, what is it? There's nothing worse than getting a present that you don't know what it is.
Yeah, I would not know what this is. I would think it was a tray.
Yeah, look at that.
That's missing the top. That's what I would think it was.
So she throws it online and goes, okay, what is this? And after I tell you what it is, it makes sense. But staring at it, you never know. This is to hang a suit on. You put your pants over this to hang down. Here's where you put your wallet and your cufflinks and all your stuff like that. And that little point there is the top where you hang your suit on, and it drapes around it to keep it from getting wrinkled.
That's a really neat thing, though. I mean, that's a neat idea.
All I've got in a suit is one jacket, so there's not a lot of need for me to have that. It's just, I know a lot of people dress that way.
You can hang your cowboy hat right there on that little.
We see this thing about a cowboy hat, you have to have it turned upside down or you lose your shape. You can never, you can't lay a hat down like that. It has to be upside down where it doesn't, all your stuff here, or you have to have it reheated. And I don't know if Britt Gully's up to reshaping my hats for me this week. Britt's great at that, by the way, if you ever get into a bind. And I hate that this hat I hadn't taken to him because I don't have the Bob Wills dimples in the side. Bob Wills always had the dimples, and he's always put that in there for me. Okay. And this one does not have it.
So, learn something every day. I didn't know that.
Embarrassing. Just downright embarrassing there. I got to get me another hat, too, now that we're speaking of it. There's nothing, and I see this out of Candace all the time, and most of us watching, there's nothing that you wouldn't do for your children. You'd give your last breath for your child.
I would.
And here's an example of that. A 42-year-old father gave his life to save his kids in Texas. He drowned off 50 feet there. He saved the kids, though. Here's the gentleman that passed away.
Mm.
And condolences to the family there. Those riptides and things.
Oh, yeah. It's scary. The beach is a pretty place, but it is a scary place to me when you have kids out there around water.
And there's a picture of the family.
Scary. Yeah. I don't know how many. We used to go to the beach when I was younger, like in, junior high, and we would always get out there in the water, and we would just be out there playing in the water, and next thing we know, we look up and we're like, where'd everybody go? Like, we'd be way on down the beach,
right?
Because the rip current or whatever would take you down there. And so it's a scary thing to me. I cannot relax, at the beach when I have kids out in the water. I don't care if they're teenagers or what. I mean, it just makes me a nervous wreck.
So what happens when two wealthy people get into an argument? 90% of the time, it's going to end up being a lawsuit because I can outdo you, I can outdo you.
Yeah.
This goes over a couple that rented an apartment from a bunch of millionaires. And, what they do in their personal life is their business. But the guy that they rented from decided, hey, I'm going to come down and I'm going to decorate the place for you with my furniture. And again, they were just renting it for a small, they move out. And the guy goes, all right, I want my deposit back. And they go, no, you smoked up the house.
Yeah.
He goes, no, I didn't. I didn't even smoke. So it goes to court. Court cost $110,000. And the millionaires lost. The judge threw it out. They agreed that they should help pay to clean the home because they live there. They paid $3,000 for that, and they got their $6,000 deposit back. Okay. But all over $6,000 cost them $110,000. That's the ones that sued.
It says, I read up there where they left a rug infested with moths and snails too. But I mean, like, if somebody was smoking in a home, though, I mean, it does go into the furniture and all that smell. It's hard to get a cigarette smell or cigar smell or whatever out of.
And I guess if you've got a lot of money when you want to prove your point, it's limitless as to what you will do to prove your point.
Yeah.
And I guess that as you watch things like Yellowstone, it does come to mind that does happen in this world. I ain't buying this, and I highly suggest anybody else don't buy this. Have you got an expensive purse?
No.
A very expensive?
I don't. Well, I do have one that was, not super expensive. It was a gift. I did not buy it. I wouldn't. I don't spend a lot of money on stuff like that, though. Even if I have the money, I ain't gonna spend it on that.
What would you think a Gucci purse would cost, roundabout?
Hundreds, probably, of dollars, I guess.
Maybe more?
I don't even know because I don't even look stuff like that up. So
I had in my head that Gucci purses were over $1,000, and I
probably,
may be
probably so.
wrong.
I have no idea. I've never been a big name brand person, though. I don't care about name brands.
What was that? She's a redneck woman. Yeah. What's her name?
I might have a little redneck in me. I don't know.
As we go to this story, Gucci is now coming out with tents. So if you have to have the best of the best of the best, Gucci is what you need to go buy when it comes to a tent. Now, I don't know how to translate that, of what that costs.
Yeah, I don't either.
So I'm mixed up on the numbers there.
A lot.
Yeah. But that's your little carrying sack there.
North Face.
Yeah.
Now, I have had a North Face jacket. I don't know. My kids have had them,
But here's the tent there. If you're just dying to have yourself a Gucci tent, they now make that. So there you go.
You'd probably be the only one at the campground with the Gucci tent. I'm just going to put that out there. Yeah.
Here in the Deep South, that's what you're going to be like.
Yeah, in the Deep South, most people have the Coleman's.
Yeah.
Coleman tent.
That's right. And on a sad note here, puppies, as we all know that dogs are important to everybody around us. And this is one of those little stories that's grabbed my attention. This was a mama dog that lost a couple pups giving birth to them. They died. And they went and buried them, and she went and dug them back up and was more or less laying there crying. And just a heart-touching thing there. She dug them up and didn't want to give up on them.
Right.
So that is heart-touching.
That's sweet. It's sad.
It is.
Sweet.
We want to remind you about a community cleanup that is headed your way next week. We didn't want to leave this out at all. This will, by the Mississippi Hub, East Mississippi Hub for volunteers. They're doing this. It will start 18th through the 24th. On Monday, they'll be in the North Hills area. Tuesday, they'll be on the 10th Avenue, the morning shift there. Friday, they'll be at the morning shift on 23rd Avenue. And I want to say I've got some more information that I can post on this also. But it's a real good cause. You can visit them on Facebook and find out more about it. I've got one link to it already on the page, and I'll put up another one here where you can find out more information on all of this. But clean it up. That's a good thing for the community to come together and make the town look better.
It is.
So jump on out there and do that. I was waiting for you to say something.
Oh, well, I mean, I can go into the thing about the God's Grace page. If you
want. Let's bring that up.
We're hoping we can find.
Let me see here.
But yesterday I mentioned that a while back I had that God had laid it on my heart about doing something, and so we were at home. It was during when everybody was on lockdown at home, and it was really weird because one morning I woke up at like 5 a.m. Just woke up, and it was just like immediately God spoke to me. And a lot of people say, "Oh, he spoke to you." It was. It was just I could feel that he was asking me to do something, and they say that you're supposed to do what God asked you to do.
You're supposed to.
So it was really weird because it was like I was supposed to go on social media, which this sounds crazy, I know. Go on social media at the time I was not doing any of this,
Just before us.
Right, before this. And I was supposed to get on there and I was supposed to give my testimony. And I thought, I cannot do that. Like, how am I going to do that? I would feel really awkward doing that. So I thought, I'm going to get up. And I went in there with my Bible and I sat at the table for like 2.5 hours with a cup of coffee. And I started reading my Bible. And for some reason, I started at Revelation and worked my way back. And so I sat there and I was just like, and it just kept eating at me. It was saying, get online. Get online. I know that sounds crazy, but I felt like what I was supposed to do. But I didn't. I should have probably. I did not that day. The next morning, the first thing I see on Facebook was another girl that I know. I've known her since high school and stuff. She says, "Hey, y'all, I woke up at 5 a.m. this morning, and God spoke to me and told me to get online."
So
this is not weird. This is a confirmation type thing. So she says, and he told me to get on here and pray with you. She said, this is not what I normally do, but I'm obeying what God told me to do. That was like a confirmation to me. Well, then the next day I get on Facebook and the first thing that I see, somebody has shared a man giving his testimony, and he said that God told him to get online and give his testimony. I felt like God was working on a lot of people at this time, and he still is, trying to have people, prepare people and turn this around, and he's still doing that. I believe that. And so I still did not get on there because I just was so uncomfortable. It was so out of my comfort zone, and I still should have. And then it was overwhelming to me that I needed to start. Maybe I'd misread things. And I needed to start a page on Facebook to bring people together, because to bring people on, to where they could share their testimony if they wanted to, if they knew somebody that needed prayer, if they needed prayer, they could put that on there, or it could be just a uplifting page to where it was stuff that was positive things on there, And so I did not start the page that day. I think it was the next day, which was Sunday morning. I was sitting there and I was listening to the Northcrest Church.
Brother Danny
at Northcrest Church. I was listening to him, and his sermon was on God's grace. And it was talking about, he said, maybe God is speaking to you and he's telling you to do something and you have not done it yet. And he's been speaking to you and he's telling you to obey what he's asking you to do and you hadn't done it yet. Well, that was just another confirmation to me that I needed to do it. And so I started a page, and the name of it is God's Grace.
Now grab your phone, because I haven't been able to find it. And you can probably pull up a picture from me, and I'll post this later today, a link to it to where you can grab it.
Right.
And we'll show you a picture up in front of the camera, because for whatever reason, I looked at it 2 or 3 times before we went on, and all of a sudden I could not get to it from my page, and I don't know why. So
okay, this is it.
It's got the 2 hands in the air.
I don't know. I'm gonna put this up to the screen just so you'll know what to look for. Can you see this? It says, "Have patience. God isn't finished yet."
So that's and I'll find that and share the link with it where you can find
Now,
it.
if you do get to the page, I just want you to know, like I said, I am not a technologically savvy person or inclined with the computer or any of this stuff. You know, I did my best on doing this page. I wanted the page to grow on its own. And I encourage people to like it and follow it. And periodically I'll be posting, you know, some things on it. You're welcome to post uplifting things on it if you want to, as long as they're appropriate. I mean, I would hate for somebody to post something inappropriate, but, you know, there's people out there who will do that. But, you know, I just feel like I was led to do it. And then, you know, I wanted to give my testimony. I wanted to be able to tell people. And so many times I would think, okay, I'm going to go down by the pond and I'm going to video, you know, myself doing my testimony, even though that is out of my comfort zone. And so, but I didn't do it. And then one day I was over here, I think Alden was staying with Angie, and Scotty Ray asked me, did I want to come up and try to do a little thing on the show? And I was like, well, I don't know. I was so nervous. I mean, because it was totally out of my comfort zone. And so I did it. And I had told you about the page, I think, prior to that. And I've been able to give a little bit of my testimony, about how I come to feel like I was kind of turning my life around. And so I feel like God has put me here. I really do. I mean, I feel like this was a thing that he intended for me to do. Right. And I can, on a daily basis, I can
well, if you help one person, it's worth everything you've done.
Right. And
if you will do this, if you could send me an invite from your page to it, then I can post it, and that'll fix it. I don't know why.
Yeah. I don't know why. Yesterday we pulled it up, and it come right up. So I don't know. But we'll figure it out. That's right.
That's what Mama said.
Right. But there's also a group, which is this group right here, the public group. It says 143. That is attached to it. You know, it's a group that you can join. But I just feel that it was
meant to be.
So
there you go. Well, we'll post it, and if you follow it, and just if you have that urge to post something there, do that.
Right. Yeah. I encourage you to.
Yeah. We've had a lovely time this morning. Glad you come by and spend a few moments with us. As always, if you need someone to work on your air conditioner, our friends at Sanders Gas want to be there for you. $69.95. We'll give you a tune-up there. They can take care of it, get yours working properly, save you money there, clean it out, make sure. And it'll last longer is the big thing there. Central air units in the South are a necessity. You cannot do with it. And they have, if you call them, if it breaks down today, they'll be there today to fix it. It won't be 3 days we'll work you in, because we know it's an emergency, and Sanders Gas will come a-running that day to take care of you. So visit Sanders Gas. You can visit them online. Drop in the store there on 22nd Avenue. They'll help you in any way they can. See Chuck, my friend, and all the guys that work there. That's right. All right. Have we missed anything that needed to be passed along?
I don't think so. Not that I'm aware of.
I was going through my head of events. I know there's some things in May that are coming up.
There is.
Maybe there's a car show this weekend that I'm forgetting. If it is, I'll post it.
Okay.
But most of all, we say thank you to each and every one of you, no matter where you're from watching.
That's right.
We appreciate you.
But like it and invite people, you know, share the page, because that's what grows this page.
It is.
Really. And we appreciate everything that y'all say, everything that you do. To support us every day, and it's really a blessing to be here. Like I said, it really is, and it helps feed my heart, and I hope that I can help somebody else, you know, in turn. So, anyway. All right, we'll be back Monday morning. I'll be back in the morning, and of course tonight, watching the weather street by street. Should anything from the south of us get rough, I'll be here to tell you about it. So there you go. It's a conclusion of Friday. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your weekend too, and we'll see you Monday.
Scotty Ray's Weather is brought to you by